Good evening. Morning. Afternoon. I hope you're still surviving.
Kind of both.
It is a stormy day out there, or at least here on the Geeky Gamer Podcast with Ken and Bill. We're going to be doing some stuff today.
Hot takes.
Hot takes. I clearly... Oh, okay. The computer froze a little bit. We do have a Patreon. It exists.
Uh-huh.
If you join it, that means that you'll get more things than just what you've got right here. More of us, more things. It's just like more than this is.
We'll have announcements over it. We do updates and all this stuff.
I expect some thunder any second now. And all lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupt, they join us with music. Couchfire Media has some art media production. And it looks like Twari Play Production has just been MIA for a minute or two.
That's how they are.
Today,
they left the country.
Who knows? But today... we're doing some like it hot takes.
So, are you streaming from Castlevania? Is that where you are right now?
Yeah.
Because that's what it sounds like.
There's
like some serious, like vampiric thunder in the background.
It is. We had a tornado last night. It took down the fence outside.
Where'd the tornado go?
At least strong winds. I don't know if it was quite like if they would call it a tornado. We had a tornado warning on the other side of the town. So it's just maybe the...
Dang, man. I know you guys get some serious weather.
Yeah, it happens. A bunch of people died. It hit Lexington. A couple people died in Lexington.
Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. There was because somebody was in a mobile home.
Oh.
Or maybe a tree fell on their house, something like that.
See a tree for sure.
I don't have any details on that. This is third degree information here, but people, don't mess around when it comes to tornadoes. You just find a place. Safe place, go to it. Speaking of safe places, we're going to be talking Dungeons and Dragons today.
Segue. That's a solid segue. It is a place. If you're a pussy.
A little Hasbro pretend action game. Just in case, if you're wondering why we were a little bitter about it, we play independently made role-playing games by people, not corporate.
Big old corporations.
Corporate money-making stuff. If you're going to have fun by pretending, why do you have to pay monthly for it?
It does seem kind of weird.
It is weird. So what's going on in the world? Are you eating?
No.
Is your lunch okay?
I'm eating like a cannoli or something.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, man. This is noon. Noon 1 a.m. 1 p.m.
PM.
For me.
Yeah. Good.
It's the price we pay for streaming during lunch.
Yeah, we didn't have a cancellation today. We just decided to stream on.
Well, we've been a little bit more. What's the word? Choosy.
Yeah, choosy
when it comes to guests and stuff, and trying to keep things a little bit more focused on gaming and all that. Although we might have someone come on that's another AI type specialist.
Sure.
Do you want to do a real quick maybe for that person, or just move on?
No, we'll move on. There's only so many times for me that I can talk about marketing before I want to shoot myself in the head.
I
Marketing
already
to
want
me,
to shoot myself in the head.
I think the answer to marketing, and please correct me because I'm probably wrong, but what I have gained, the answer in marketing, if you're going to be successful in marketing, you got to have some money. Like
Just show your tits.
You got to pay to play.
Just show your tits. That's all you got to do. I mean, I'm being actually rather serious. Sex sells. It always has. That's. I mean, as misogynistic as people want to call that, come on, that's like that. It sells, and that's why people do it.
Yeah, doesn't matter if you're selling a carburetor.
It sells to everybody.
If you put a
hot woman in front of a tire, people will want to buy it.
Well, it's definitely a trope that has gone on since the early days of advertising that seems to
you mean like
be functional
20 BC or something, or like 2020 BC E.
I mean, they didn't
when they had like some like 2 or 3 women scantily clad in front of like the bathhouse, like, please come in, like that.
Prostitution
was
wasn't
literally always been. I'm not talking about prostitution.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it wasn't the first profession because,
right?
I mean, they don't say that for no reason.
And when I say show your tits too, I mean like it also applies to dudes, you know, or
sure.
And you know, I will obviously get in trouble for gender identity here. I'm not talking about assigning at birth and use all the disclaimers you want. I'm saying when you see a recognizably appealing female form, people want to go to the bar. They want to listen and buy the thing. And I mean that's all over Instagram. Like that's a trope. You know, it's like, oh, how many followers do you have on your personal Instagram account? Probably like 300, right? The average girl is going to have 1,000 if she puts any effort into it. Why? People want to talk to girls more than they want to talk to dudes. Who wants to listen to 2 dudes talk?
Are you confused at why we? I mean, we do unpopular opinions, or 2 guys talking internet
being
nerd
assholes.
stuff.
It's why we're on
being
YouTube.
big jerks.
YouTube is more dude oriented for some reason. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I would much prefer a female audience than a bunch of dudes. Because I know what the dudes have to say. I'm a dude. I would love to hear someone else's opinion.
I can only imagine. I mean, I can count most of the time that we've had a number of female and male guests.
Yeah.
But I definitely get more out of talking to the female guests, and because I know my male perspective, and I definitely lean liberal.
Well, a lot of us think the same. A lot of us think the same. Yeah.
When we're having a conversation about women and we're like 3 or 4 guys on this channel
we're guessing. We're just guessing. That's the thing. That's the thing. We're just guessing. And you got to ask the person. Like, if we wanted to talk, well, in the early days of GGP, we talked about like CRT and that kind of stuff. So critical race theory, which you know a ton about, and I only know it anecdotally. It'd be awesome to have someone on here who's a person of color, like, you know, has experienced it. And if we're going to talk about it, is what I'm trying to say. But sometimes, you know, you don't have access, or that guest isn't available, or whatever.
Well, I mean, we've had a very diverse group of guests. We've definitely had a number of black people that were guests. I don't think we've had a black man. I feel like we need a black man as a guest. We've definitely had a Muslim man. I think we've had a Muslim woman. We've had this is wild territory. We've had a Jewish guy.
Although a lot of Jewish, if they're Ashkenazi Jews, then they're typically considered white.
Yeah. Yeah. This
I mean,
is the episode that gets us canceled.
True. That's not true. I mean, in the U.S., it's a stereotypical type thing.
Okay.
It is. Like the stereotypical Ashkenazi Jew is white or considered white, because then you get into the question, what the fuck does white mean? A lot of people say that white means it's just sort of the catch-all. You're not one of the others. You're light-skinned. You don't have deep roots kind of anywhere.
Sure.
Because people will look at, they'll say, oh, well, you're from the Caucasus Mountains. Well, that's not true. Well, you're from England. Okay, well, or Great Britain. Okay, yeah. But then you go to Europe, and if you're not from Europe, you go to Italy, people are like, oh, yeah, white people. And they're looking at Italians who are olive-skinned. Look at a Spaniard and tell them that they're white. And they're going to be like, what are you talking about?
What are you saying? Well,
yeah, what are you saying?
I don't want to say that white means right, but...
Now, that accent is a good point. People assume the place that we're from, if we had the accent, they think we're dumb, they think we're racists, that all these things, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, there's history behind that, though.
There's history behind.
But
literally every race doing that.
But
being dumb and being racist.
It's true that when you generalize a group of people, that's kind of racist.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like, oh well, you're from Kentucky, you're white, you're racist.
That's the thing. Like if you say anything, it can be twisted with a, what do you mean by that? I mean, that's kind of the problem. Like when you shut down all kinds of conversation about something, arguably the reason we're even talking about this is because we started saying things like, female, male, black people, non-white, et cetera, and so we're trying to make up and not sound like we're racist, because literally it's a minefield. Just using words as a minefield nowadays.
It's kind of a tough time for racism, considering that they are literally profiling people and putting them on planes and shipping them.
What the hell is going on?
Shipping them
what
to
the
countries.
hell is going on? Even Joe Rogan was like, okay, what the fuck? Now granted, I'm glad that Joe Rogan has said that, but stop being so fucking flippy floppy. I mean, he had Trump on his podcast, and I was like, it was a good interview, I thought. At the same time, I was like, dude, 6 months ago you were lampooning this guy.
Yeah.
And now you're like, no. What the hell? Well, why do people, and you know who I am, Ken, you know that I am not a bleeding heart. I do not understand why at any point past the 90s, people backed Donald Trump. I don't get it. Okay, if you might hate everyone else, and so you're like, okay, I hate everybody else, and so this guy's speaking the unadulterated truths that everybody's afraid to speak, and I'm going to support anyone like that. I get that mentality, but take the other people that you hate out of it. Just look at this guy. He's not a followable person. He doesn't have a good plan. He never has. You put him in any other situation, he's an asshole.
So yeah, he's a failure. Like business, for instance. What he's supposed to be good at, he's done worse than if he just invested his money in the stock market.
I don't understand this reticence of people. Like the moment that I'm like, I got second thoughts about Elon Musk, and then I got friends that are like, "Oh yeah, well now you're a liberal, now you're woke, oh blah blah blah," and I'm like, dude, look at what he's. I liked Elon Musk. I still like Elon Musk, but I'm not. I was not hit in the head with a heavy object. I'm not stupid. Like, look at what is happening, not the circumstances of what we want to happen. I want to go to Mars. I want that to happen. But I'm looking at what Elon Musk is doing, and I'm like, y'all, you'd never allow that. It's not, like, unless you got some serious trust in this guy.
Right.
It doesn't look good.
He's not an expert in that. He's not an expert in all things. He's an expert in some things, and he can orchestrate materials and
arguably arguably he's an expert in making people believe that he's an expert.
Sure. That is one place, and I'm with you. I think it would be great to travel. I mean, we are on a sinking ship and have been all our lives. This is the only ship we got.
Yeah.
So and we have limited resource. The planet is not forever. And if you talk to our grandparents, my grandparents, their generation thought it was infinite. Like, this is all sustainable. This is forever.
Oh, they also used it up. It's not that it matters, but it wasn't us.
Yeah, we did. Well, I mean, but
we didn't fuck it up.
We just lived in the world that we were given, and it's is Musk my age? I don't know how old he is.
No, he's older than you. He's in his 50s.
He's in his 50s.
He's a Gen Xer.
I don't know.
I mean, so are you, but
yeah, he's the other side of Gen X. I'm the millennial side of Gen X. And so, but it that's all beyond the point. It's like, what are we? I mean, it almost seems like this is what the government of aliens did potentially, or alien.
Oh, corporatocracy.
Corporatocracy. I mean, that is a possible future that we are in, and they seem to make it work.
This is nothing new, you know. There's talks. It's circulating all over Instagram, for example, of Carl Sagan. Any thinker, comedian, scientist, philosopher, politician, fucking Mark Rubio in 2016 was talking about Donald Trump and how he was a dictator. Vehemently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of changing. Yeah.
What is her name?
Flippity flop.
She's got great hair and this like shock of white hair. I forget her name. She ran for president, I think in 2020. She was, and then she went. Yeah, Gabriella what?
Gabbard, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. Dude, I was all about Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
She was on Joe Rogan. Her interview with Joe Rogan it's a little bit like doomsday-y, but
yeah. Well, that's
then again,
kind of the theme.
And
the theme.
She had this whole thing about like where we're going.
Yeah.
2 years later.
Yeah, she flipped.
I'm like, did they do brain surgery? Like, what has happened?
Well, I think that's kind of even Trump says it. He's like, get on the bandwagon, and they realize that if they don't have his word, and he goes with whatever candidate that's against him, he has enough popularity in those districts that they will no longer represent their constituency. So you get yes men around you. And I think that's where Musk has failed himself. He gets some yes men around him. And
I'm not trying to give him any kind of benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is too smart to be such an asshole. Like, you cannot treat people without humanity and be considered a good guy.
That's where Rogan said something. You know, he's like, he's not beholden to Trump necessarily. He said what he thought. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Shipping people off without due process. That's some Nazi shit right there. Like, there are people,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that can't be bought. I mean, I think Rogan connected with him on a level. I didn't watch the interview all the way through because I've studied politics for a long time.
It's 3 hours and a lot of it was not for you and me.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. But I think Harris definitely failed and should have gotten on there.
Who the fuck is Harris?
I don't know.
Who the fuck is Harris?
And nobody.
Look, I'm not trying to diss Kamala Harris, but who the fuck is Harris? Like, she was a terrible candidate to begin with.
I disagree. I mean, she wasn't bad, but she wasn't run properly.
Yeah,
I mean,
you should have had Bernie Sanders on there.
Yeah, I agree. For years.
I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, people were like, "Oh, that's insane." Really? No. Donald Trump has been president twice. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was a fail.
Are you kidding me? Bernie Sanders, the one who's insane? Are you kidding me? Oh, he's a socialist. You do realize that socialism is better than populism, right?
Sure. And I liked Elizabeth Warren, and like she's not going to win anything. It doesn't matter.
Was she Green Party? Is that who she was?
No, she's a Democrat.
She's Democrat. The Democrats are idiots.
They have some problems. I don't know if idiots are the words. I think they're compassionate and empathy, and I think that there is a lot of
and an idiot.
There's a lot of fear. I think that it's that they're afraid, and there's a fear inside the party where if they say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, they get punished for it, and they have to like Al Franken, for instance. I was so pissed off when they canceled him because of what he did when he was a comedian on a comedian trip in an airplane. He took some photos. I mean, I admit that they were wrong.
A snake eats its own tail. But that is the reason that people leave the fucking liberal party.
Yeah.
Because they're idiots.
Well, they eat themselves on a lot of, and I get on there and I like pushing buttons. You know me.
Everybody loves to be right. Everybody loves to have this moral high ground to be like, fucking righteous thunderbolts from the mountain that they stand on, until they realize the mountain keeps going.
Yeah.
And the thing is that all it takes is you to get out of that a little bit to be like, you're all fools. And they're just foolish. And they're just being foolish. And that pushes people to Donald Trump.
Yeah. I mean, if you
no other option.
If you blacklist every person who has a different opinion or who you believe is being disrespectful to you without a conversation, that is you're diminishing your
It's grow some thicker skin and stop being a bitch. That's what it is.
It's a much more callous way of saying it.
It is a very callous way of saying it because it's through frustration, ignorance, and stupidity.
I think that liberals definitely need to grow a thicker skin and learn how to communicate, because the shutting you down, cutting you off, and
there's no conversation.
There's no.
They don't
wall.
listen to.
I mean, you built a fucking wall.
You built a fucking wall.
Yeah.
You built the wall. Yeah, Trump built anyway.
Yeah.
It's this idea of you're unless you bandwagon, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like on both sides. Both sides are intolerant.
Yeah.
Arguably, they are the same side. And this is actually something I was talking to John about. He had a very interesting, very British perspective on it, but I thought it was very interesting. We should talk to him about it at some point, because I'm not going to do him justice.
Sure.
Long and the short of it is taking out the fine details. Both sides are intolerant across the board. If you don't agree, wave the flag, jump on their bandwagon, you're cast out. And so in reality, instead of having a left and the right, you got to have a north and a south, which the left and the right are all up in the north. It's this idea of intolerance, of populism, of the government taking away your rights and your education. And then you have the centrists, which are in the bottom, the South. And that's where it's being educated, being tolerant. You cannot tolerate something and also like it. People confuse this. People say, oh, I'm intolerant because I hate it. It's like, no, to tolerate something means you don't like it. You tolerate it.
Sure.
You allow it. If you liked it, you wouldn't have to tolerate it.
Right.
It's like if your roommate doesn't do the dishes when you want them to, you tolerate that, so you all live together.
Or you do it yourself. Take him out of there. That's a form of tolerance.
He had an interesting idea there.
Yeah,
that was actually sort of his paradigm. I don't know if I said it right. I thought it was interesting.
Well, it's like if you've ever been to court for whatever reason, the judge their goal is compromise. That means, and in a lot of situations, that means both sides gotta let some stuff go, and the answer is somewhere in between the middle. And that's where our government is failing us, is that we have lost that ability of compromise.
You can't protest on a college campus. Like, the Free Palestine thing, take it whatever you want.
No, it was
however you want to go, whatever a person's politics are about Palestine and Israel. Sure. Not being able to protest what you want to protest, getting deported because you protested, that's a problem.
Well, you're missing information. I mean, they've arrested people who were just picked up on the way out of a protest, and they didn't have due process.
That's a problem.
It is a problem. It is also a problem to, deface your own campus.
You shouldn't get deported for it.
Yeah, but it's a problem to do, because these protests were happening under Biden. The Free Palestine protests, but they suffered from a lack of understanding of the alternative. They have created their own. They hoisted themselves up on their own petard because they were too successful, and I think in part, elected Trump into office. And I think a lot of Muslims even voted for him, having forgotten the fact that there was a Muslim ban that he set up years and years ago.
Just to come back full circle.
Yeah.
Marketing. Trump definitely has good marketing.
He's got. I mean, it's not him. It's not him. It's people speaking for him.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's him. I'm saying the Trump zeitgeist has good marketing.
The zeitgeist, the people speaking
whether
for
you
him.
hate him or not.
Yeah, there is a real and if you look at it now, it's Amazon, Facebook,
Wonder why.
Meta. It's they all kind of work together to bring him into power.
Makes him a lot of money. A lot of corporatocracy. I mean, someone was talking, I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, deregulation, sure.
Is a Instagram thingamajig, I believe is a politician woman. And she outlines essentially what Elon Musk is doing right now. Mm-hmm. Defunding these programs. And Noam Chomsky talks about this as well in a much older interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, if you want to privatize something, you defund the public version so that it breaks, because it doesn't work anymore because it's defunded. Right. And when it's broken, you point out and say, see, it's broken. So then you get your company to get the the contract, which is apparently literally what Elon Musk is doing.
Oh, absolutely.
With all these things.
There's
he's like, oh yeah, we're trimming the fat. Oh yeah, and he's putting all of his contracts in.
He's being investigated for all these different
it's like
institutions that he's defunded. Yeah, no, he's definitely streamlining the process for
all that info he has access to. People are like, what he's gonna do with it? It's like, well, that's info to be able to do a product that's better, or to leverage, or to sell trade secrets and go back to fucking South. Whatever he wants to do.
It's open season.
It's
open season. I mean, to me it feels like, you know, they're working for some other country. That just seems like bringing us all down. Oh, it's just gonna hurt now, but it'll get better, I promise. But we don't have a plan. But the plan is to bring everything down and then rebuild it. You just keep on shouting the big lie, which is this. We're better. This is better, and it's their fault. This is better. It's their fault. You know, we've seen this before. We've seen this before in history. I know you don't. You like. I read a lot of right-wing news and I read a lot of left-wing. I do it on purpose to kind of like, what are they talking about? Like with the, you know, falling of the stock market, they're talking about like how auto sales are plummeting, and how it's a good thing on right-wing media sources. Oh, this is anticipated. American companies are failing now, and that means the tariffs are working. and it's
an interesting spin.
Yeah, it's a very odd spin. Oh,
no, we're losing money.
Yeah,
like we said, but it's good.
Yeah, but it's good.
It's good though, and look at those Muslims. Look at them.
Yeah, right. Well, and it doesn't matter what happens as long as you spin it your way and put your little face on it. I mean, that's kind of where they're at. I mean, I think it goes rhetoric. It goes to what is it called? Your bias. Like if you can connect with your audience's built-in bias and make them feel like, oh, they're on the right side. What is it?
For example,
confirmation bias. Yeah.
Confirmation bias. Yeah. Well, for example, let's say what do you call it? You had a really good word for it. Code switching.
Yeah.
Is if suddenly we use words like, oh yeah, the wokies, the fake news.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, it's all about the fake news and the wokies. Suddenly, if somebody had just jumped in, they're like, and they're conservative, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna listen to that guy. He's just using the right language,
right?
Regardless of what I'm saying,
right?
Whereas if I'm like, oh yeah, the Trumpites and he's a Nazi and fascist. They're like, oh yeah, fuck those woke people, right. Regardless of what I'm saying, right? It's nuts.
I do like using the word snowflake. It's such a good word.
My deal with snowflake is this: anything that I can directly tie, like anything serious that I can directly tie to a cult movie, I put into question. Like the first time I heard the snowflake thing, I was like, hold on. Are y'all fucking up one of my favorite movies, Fight Club? Are you appropriating my Fight Club language? Why? Because that's not what it's about. That's not what the fucking movie's about.
It's true. It's about bringing down corporatism and starting and leveling the playing field. It's not. Right. It's not about.
It is not Republican. It's very opposite for Republican.
Yeah. It's anarchy, and I think that a lot of Republicanism is embracing that anarchy, but it's the mindset, it's the confirmation bias of we are supposed to be allowed to be our own humans, but you're doing this, meanwhile you're taking people's rights away, you're taking away due process. How is this helping your freedom?
That's the thing, is the problem there is the confirmation bias and the lexicon. It's literally the words. For example, we call the Republicans the right. So right wing means conservative. Right wing means small government.
Sure.
But no, it doesn't.
Not anymore. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is you have the right wing, but who's running the white wing? The white wing right now. The white wing. Yes. Corporations. Like Donald Trump is a nepotism baby.
Sure.
Fucking Trump Tower, dude. Like all of the billionaires. Corporate America. I mean, granted, it's technically not big government in the traditional sense, but when the corporations are the government, that's pretty big government. That is not individualism.
And
I mean, it's capitalism to extreme, but
and they're talking about bringing back, the Gilded Age is kind of oligarchy,
bullshit. But you'd have to start World War III to bring back the Gilded Age.
Well, it's all the money. The money is, 5 people have all the money, and the rest of us, we're suffering. We're not suffering yet. I mean, I'm not suffering. I feel like I'm
not yet.
But it according to tariffs, it is hurting more to just go to the grocery, not just to eat out, but going to the grocery is like, are you kidding me?
It's like $10 a little bit, or $10 eggs. Yeah, good. And I know that's a different. It's not tariffs, but
liberals or the left have basically become conservatives in government because they're trying to protect the status quo.
They're not doing a good job.
Yeah, they've shifted into there's nobody stepping up. I guess Booker stepped up with his 25-hour long speech in the Senate.
Did he filibuster?
Yeah, he did a 25-hour, like he beat Strom Thurmond's record, 24-hour long record. And I think a lot of what they say is they're saying the right things if you have empathy, but we are in a country where we're more insular than we've ever been before. And so empathy is hard to do when everybody pisses you off. We talk amongst ourselves how the whole world is pissing us off. It's almost hypocritical for me to say, I've got empathy for my next door neighbor because everybody pisses me off.
Well, like the things. So I get pushback. So I'll say something like, I don't think it's okay for Elon Musk and others to drop millions and millions and millions of dollars funding their politics in, some state like Wisconsin or someplace over a judge.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
Well, he did that on purpose. There was a reason for that. They were investigating him and his company. So the pushback that I got was, other people do that. And I'm like, right. So if I go, this is what my dad used to say. If I go pee in the creek, guys, we're from Kentucky, so this is normal. If I go pee in the creek, that's fine. Who cares? If everybody go pees in the creek is piss.
So we're not talking about fairness here, all right? We're talking about if someone goes and pees in the creek, while that may be okay for that person to do, they're still pissing in the creek, right? I mean, I can beat this horse pretty dead if I need to connect these thoughts. Do I? Am I making sense?
Do you pee in the creek? I mean, I peed in a lake before.
Okay, I'll connect them. The point is this. Just because other people are doing it doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, jump off a cliff.
Just because someone can get away with it doesn't mean it's okay.
Sure.
What I'm trying to.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. And I don't like it. I don't like the idea that people are pushing an initiative with that amount of money.
Well, that's what he's been doing. That's his.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he spent $500 million on putting somebody in the White House, and it seems to have worked for him. I mean, it's a power grab, and it's amazing how little money it costs. I mean, I say that as a me, but I mean, there are people who have maybe not as much as Musk, but certainly there are organizations. And he figured out a way with the PACs. And the funny thing is this is Mitch McConnell's fault.
Fuck that guy.
Sorry.
Can't say that.
You know, because he put the money back in politics. And we're just living in a country where money is money trumps justice. And you know, that is our golden cow. We've got the golden cow in this moment. And it was a pushback because of COVID, and it was a pushback because things aren't as nice as they were. And if he can hold on to power, if Trump can hold on to power, then he's gonna beat the incumbent issue that's happening right now, because everything's getting worse and will continue to get worse. Because things are going to keep costing more money, because resources are dwindling. And I'm not saying he's fixing the problem, but if he can connect with people via confirmation bias, even if there's no ground, it doesn't matter, as long as he has the perception of being right. He's going to hold on to power, and we're going to experience this in a longer capacity and more. And, you know, it's definitely a concerning time, and we're at the edge of a slippery slope, regardless of what happens, because it's not just him. It is the mouthpiece.
Him and a few billionaires.
Yeah, the mouthpiece that they've installed. You know, it's it started with Tucker or Alex Jones or, you know, any of those people. Papa Bear. I can't remember his name. I could only remember his nickname. The Fox News guy that was just a big fan of Trump's for the longest time. It didn't matter. None of this stuff matters now. I mean, what matters now is, are we getting our needs met? And
why is Tulsi Gabbard? Why has she flip-flopped?
Oh, yeah.
I truly don't understand.
Well, she would have lost her.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, she
am I wrong about her flip-flop?
No, she would have lost her Senate race in Arizona if she hadn't conceded the way that she did. She would just be elected out of office, because she doesn't, like, Trump goes and campaigns for like the new upstart that is a yes man, and we know this from history, like societies where the yes men are surround the powers that be, you know, those societies fail, and fail quickly, because you have to have pushback in order to get, you know, things done correctly. And I think that's what a lot of people are worried about, is that this yes men is going to, Meninism is going to lead to corruption and of general societal failure. Not to be conspiracy anything, I mean, because we're already experiencing a lot of that as is. I take issue with some of the stuff that we had the guest. This is such a weird thing to bring up, but what was his name? Cody Johnson a couple of weeks ago. I liked him as a guest, but I think he was wrong about, everybody losing their job. I think that's just going to create, mass poverty. I don't have any expectation that corporations are going to lift this all up when nobody's working, because AI is doing all of the business and doing all of the art
just
and
gonna
doing
have
all
us
of
by
the it'll turn into what do you have when you have a massive population that is unemployed? Is you get unrest, and that's when people will rise up, regardless of if unless corporations are like, oh, well, we'll sponsor you. we'll make sure that you're fed. But to what end is this, and what does that look like? Yeah, I mean, that's
what it was. If you can't challenge someone, you're in. I mean, just to talk to the right-wing people, there's a reason you have your guns, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a reason you have a gun.
Sure.
I'm from Kentucky. When I was in Kentucky, I had some guns. Why?
Gives you the right to challenge.
Because you have the right to challenge. That's it. Oh, you would never fight. You would never win against the military. First of all, that is true. Although there are some preppers that pretty scary people.
Sure. Yeah, but those preppers are not going to do well against an F-16.
No, they just get wrecked, or
a tank,
one missile. That'd be it. But what I'm trying to say is, you have the right to bear arms to be able to defend yourself. Well, that extends to the other rights. The whole point you have those rights are to defend yourself. And as Carl Sagan said, it's not enough to hallow a bunch of rights. Like, they will be stripped away and taken. Like, you have to actually do something. And I think one of the issues, at least that I deal with, and I assume that maybe other people do as well, is great. What do you do? Like, what do I do? I mean, I can post on Instagram stories. I can do this. I can talk to people. I can vote. But what can you do? Right? And it is disheartening for me to look at the left, which I am not a part of, and be like, so who among you is going to challenge this bullshittery? And I don't see anybody. I mean, Bernie Sanders to an extent.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Cory Booker, I think they're actually talking about him and lifting.
Like, what the fuck happened to AOC? Where the fuck is she?
Oh, and she's in there. She's, they're definitely, she's saying the right words that resonate. But, when they compare her to Marjorie Taylor Greene, it knocks a lot of the wind out of her sails. They're not the same. There is a difference, and knowing what you're talking about and just being stupid. And I think that the right is full of stupidity. I mean, it is the bandwagon. Once you get on that wagon, you are officially stupid. And once you take your feet off the ground and you're just riding along, it's a ride along. it's like you're going in that way, and it's hard to get off because it's moving fast. That wagon's moving quick, and you're on a speeding train. And you look down and like ripping off that, and you know, for either side, ripping off the like whatever it takes, you know, because I'm gonna go against the liberals, but ripping off whatever that makes you feel superior to others because they are being assholes. You know, whatever it is that doesn't give you the empathy to talk to somebody who is, and I understand because I live in the South, you understand that you don't talk to some people because they're violent, and you know, you start arguing with somebody on the right and you start saying things that charges them up a little bit, you could get in a fight or something. That I've experienced that very, very much firsthand, with only the intent to say, hey, you know, I want to broaden your worldview. So I think the most important thing for our country, more than anything, left or right, is to be able to have a conversation with their neighbors who they disagree with and find some kind of ground or basis, and not repeat some bullshit that they learned from somebody on TV. Come from a place where you know something about something and have personal experience with something, and bring that to the table instead of being exclusive, because exclusivity is going to bring us a civil war, or you know.
People stick to their guns. No pun intended. They,
yeah, they do.
They really stick to their guns. I've got some people close to me that champion what is going on right now in the government.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
I look at them and I say, it's okay to. I can understand having contradicting opinions to my own, but can you explain it? Like, I don't have to agree with this person, but can you explain the logic of it's okay to pick people off the streets and without due process? Like, you tell me that if any country and be like, hey, do you think this is cool? And I will personally say, well, I think it implies something about that country. Whether it's right, wrong, whatever their government is, whatever their culture is, I think it implies something about the standard of living in that country when that's a deal. If someone says, hey, here's a government that applies tariffs, which people don't know what tariffs are, you know, I have to look it up. I'm not an economist. But to actually be like, okay, look, we only buy from ourselves. Everywhere else is going to be more expensive. The implication is, okay, well, do they have good trade with people? Because that means the imports and the exports are probably a part of their economy, which tariffs dynamically change that. So are they self-sufficient? And if they're self-sufficient, doesn't that make them a target? Arguably, the reason that Taiwan and China have never gone to actual war after the 40s or 50s is because they're too interlocked economically. It would be too expensive to do it, arguably. Yeah, like that interconnectivity actually keeps the wars, the fighting, in the realm of academics and politics and these things, and not guns and bombs.
Sure.
Like, so if someone implies is, okay, well, we're going to cut ourselves off from the world. We're going to apply tariffs to everything. We're going to have, you can only say what is good for us. It's all about us. You know what that sounds like? North fucking Korea. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Oh, exactly.
Not
like that.
to diss North Korea. I'm not trying to diss North Korea. I'm not trying to say America's North Korea, but I'm saying
I don't want to go.
If you didn't know what country we were talking about, and you said, hey, this is what they're doing, it implies something.
Right.
And I look at my the people close to me, and I'm like, can you explain this logic in a way that isn't, well, fuck those other guys?
Right.
This is my same argument for during the Trump-Kamala Harris election. Everyone I talked to, without fail, it always came down to the same thing. Fuck Trump, that's why. Or fuck Harris, that's why. Always.
Right. One
it
of
was
the
never,
things,
I believe this, and therefore.
one of the things I found to be a solution for that, and I've tried to integrate that into when we do our talk shows with people I disagree with, it's I think trying to get yourself to explain their perspective and get them to explain your perspective. I think that's a really helpful way of finding communication, because you can go point by point and deconstruct those points. I do think that what's happening now is with the tariffs is it's a power grab, and we don't necessarily see all of it, but it is going to diminish the power in certain areas. China, I think, will be more emboldened because Taiwan will be at a weaker stance, much like.
Well, China knows that you can just invade someone and it's okay.
Right, much like with Russia and Ukraine, and the EU is now on its own. So in some ways, they're saying, well, what's positive out of this is the EU has decided to put more money into spending, like they've been telling them to do for a long time. Well, they don't have a choice.
Well, Russia has more resources. That's it. Russia has fewer rules because Putin can just say yes or no, and they got a lot more resources.
Sure. But they also have a lot more corruption. The reason why Russia doesn't just invade Ukraine or hasn't just won it over, and it's been such a long time, is that Putin is surrounded by yes men, and yes men inspire corruption. And so, we'll build all those tanks for you, and they build. They take a little for themselves to get their yachts. They take a little for themselves to get this thing happening. Pretty soon, there's no actual thing.
Well, they're not
because
the people
there's no accountability. There's no pushback. And when the person under the person says, yeah, we can't build that. We don't have any steel.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out though. Like there's levels here. Like, it benefits an Orwellian government to always be at war and to never win the war.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
It's good for the corporations.
Oh, absolutely.
So the people that are the corporations, the oligarchs and such, they benefit from all that. They don't need to get Ukraine. They don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strategic. Crimea is strategic, and Ukraine does have a strategic value, of course. But to simplify this down to, Kiev and Rus is the origination of all of it, as in like 1,000 years ago. And it is in Kiev, right? So arguably it is Russia's. Then again, arguably 1,000 years ago, the Slavics were all the same people.
Yeah,
obviously things have differed or have changed in the last 1,000 years.
Sure.
But what I'm trying to say is, getting back to the homeland mentality, while that motivates the people to continue fighting, that's not why Putin's invading Ukraine. I mean, maybe it is. I doubt it. I think it just gives him something to do.
It certainly rallies his people, and keeps their attention focused. I mean, if you've ever watched any Russian news, I worked for RT for a short period of time. It's pretty one-sided, and the people that do push back are typically party people who act like clowns. I mean, this is the thing. This is what's next for Fox News, is they'll start bringing people who are idiots and act and give them credibility so they can take it away from themselves. We haven't gotten there yet, but that's in the
like
in the
type of
works.
stuff.
Yeah, the pundits, but they're pundits that act like clowns, and it's a different if you can,
It's like straw man.
yeah, if you can push the party out, you can start dictating what people are pissed off about. Right now it's trans rights.
We should watch Starship Troopers again.
Oh yeah, it's so good. We should do a watch party.
It's essentially what it's about. There's a YouTube. We're gonna segue a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube guy that talks about it. I actually think he's kind of wrong, and misses a lot of points.
Yeah, good.
But he talks about how in Starship Troopers, Starship Troopers the movie, people didn't get it. They thought it was a shitty action movie that's just camp is the wrong word, kitschy and overblown, and it's just a gory action film. Actually, if you watch the movie, it's very political. It's brilliant. It's not about fighting bugs. It's about the fact that right there in that scene, they are in Buenos Aires. They're all speaking perfect English. They're all beautiful people, and they're all white. That's actually what it's about. It's about, to become a citizen, you have to go to the military. To become a citizen, you have to go to the military. Anyway, this guy, this YouTube dude, he's like, oh, in Starship Troopers, the bugs are not the bad guys. In fact, the humans are. And the humans just blamed the bugs to start a war so that the militarocracy machine can keep on going. And he goes through all these little bits and pieces about why that is and whatnot. I think it's an interesting brainstorm, but a lot of his points blatantly don't work.
Yeah.
At any rate.
I watched Starship Troopers before we and Alien or Aliens before we played Into Space, just because I wanted to get that vibe right. It was important. But yeah, RoboCop and I mean, I think RoboCop's an interesting look at due process because
it's
it takes
ultra violence.
Yeah, it takes but the criminals in RoboCop are like cartoons almost. They are they're not the way
They're
real
like
people would
twisting their
act.
mustaches.
Yeah. Or Total Recall was even had its own amount of fascism in there as well. I mean, it certainly
100%. 100%.
had
That's
its. But it was well played because it was kind of underplayed. Whereas this was blatant. I don't see how people missed the meaning of Starship Troopers.
They missed it. You ask the average person about it, and they won't get it.
Yeah,
they just don't get it.
Yeah.
They think that it's cheesy, and they don't understand that it is. It's almost like they did it too well, because they were like the audience was like, oh yeah, the big blocky 3D terrible letters, like screensaver letters, and they're like, okay, and they don't take it seriously, which is
right.
The point.
Horrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's too good.
I connected it with it because I grew up in the Bible Belt, and I knew like what the way people interact with me about, trying to save me, and I'm a teenager and I don't agree with them and I'm trying to be nice. The religious people are always kind of like giving me their perception, but when I bring my perception, it's not valid.
Right. Because you're wrong.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the same thing that liberals, I mean, regardless of who's right or wrong, liberals and Republicans, that's their hot take.
Wait, were you going back into politics, you motherfucker?
No,
I
I was just gonna say that you have a much more personal experience with that. Where I think you believed more heavily than I think I ever did. I was subjected to it. Yeah, I was subjected to it. You were an evangelist, so that's
which I learned a lot from church.
Sure.
I got a lot of there's a lot of philosophy and good thinking that comes from traditions, whatever church quote unquote you wanna go for. There's some good things I think that can be gleaned, ways of living, ways of coping, community, all that stuff. But to quote or to paraphrase Christopher Hitchinson, religion often makes good people do terrible things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some hypocrisy.
And people will shut down immediately hearing that because they're like, no, religion! And it's like, okay, well, ideology then.
Right.
An ideology will create a bad person out of a good person. I know lots of people that are genuinely good people, and if someone was hurt in the street, they would immediately help them. Immediately. Doesn't matter what they look like, who they are, what they believe in, etc. They would help them. And yet, they're totally cool letting a whole bunch of people die. What? That doesn't make any sense. Right. Letting families, blah blah blah. So I don't want to get back on politics. We talked about it for an hour.
No, it's not necessary. I feel like all of this is a good introduction to where we're really going, which is talking about Dungeons and Dragons. It's just so long.
That's your big segue. So
segue.
The D&D thing. Okay, so if it's escapism, if that's what you're going for with D&D, then, or just with gaming, with tabletop role-playing games, if you're going for escapism to check out for a little while, kind of like playing Cards Against Humanity, more creative, more immersed, but you're just checking out, doing, eating candied popcorn. That's what you're into. I think it's perfectly fine what they're doing with D&D. What Hasbro is doing with it, making it digital, making it more accessible with AR, putting it all on D&D Beyond, taking it off, whatever it is, the entire gender politics thing, the inclusivity, all of that I think is a grand idea because it is expanding their market. It's opening up D&D to other people, and it's a lot of fun. And groups can do what they want with it and rock and roll. I see no problem with that. If that's what these tabletop role-playing games are. Now, if you're using tabletop role-playing games to create something, right? As in to create a dialogue amongst friends, to create, nay, I say, some sort of art. As in, to take it serious enough to do it well, to tell riveting stories. By dint of doing that, you're going to be doing things that you're going to be talking about the hero's journey, real life issues. You're going to pull from your actual experience and create stories. This is not just a eat a spoonful of sugar type shit. This is an outward energy that the players are putting their energy and their creativity and their intelligence into the game. And they're making something original. You're getting in the art realm. To do that, you've got to be able to be dangerous. Art is not safe. Safe art sucks. If you want to create something that is good, it's got to have the ability to fail, to succeed. It's got to have the ability to be dangerous, to say something, to mean something. And I question whether Hasbro gives a damn about anything I just said. Because when I see a game system that is like, everything's safe, you're all good, here's the trophy, there's no stakes.
Right.
I don't think you can tell a story that way that's actually meaningful.
Right. Well, it's hard for any change to happen. I feel like the point of storytelling is like if there isn't some kind of change, if you're not trying to figure something out, or if the character is not, it's a boring story. It's a Mary-Kate and Ashley film. I hate dishing on Mary-Kate and Ashley. I mean, I'm sure they're fine. I haven't watched the movies, but I only presume that, you know, there's a difficulty. They're in a situation where everything's fine. There's a difficulty that happens. They get to the difficulty. They don't really change. They just get past it for whatever reason, and then they're still the same people. There's no difference.
Yeah. Story-wise, Kurt Vonnegut says that is the man in a hole tactic, where you're okay. Like, here's the line of shit, right? Mm-hmm. So you're okay. Down here, you don't want to be. You're okay. Story starts. Oh no, and then you get out of it. Mm-hmm. It's man in the hole, which works.
Yeah,
that works.
But there's no investment into what,
because people that watch those movies don't want investment. Right. It's like it's kind of like a life movie. It's a feel good.
I mean, a Lifetime movies, I think there's some change. I mean, there's definitely like, don't hire that babysitter because she's totally gonna like kill you and take your place.
It's
just don't do it.
It's not. You don't watch those movies. You watch those movies to hang out and get the endorphins and whatnot, which you do other movies as well, but these are not movies you're really going to remember. All right, give me a second. I'm going to make some more coffee.
Well, I was just
continue.
Oh yeah, okay. That sounds good. Let's just take a short break, and we'll be right back with this moment, and we're out.